All right, well, good morning, everyone. I hope happy Friday to everybody. I hope everybody's having a great morning. Today we are going to be going over some car forms. Michelle's going to be doing the training. But before we do that, I wanted to bring up something that I emailed yesterday. So if you're not familiar with Gen Blue is like once a year corporate does a function in different cities. This year it's going to be in Atlanta. It's usually about $300 to attend. That's just to attend. You still have to fly over there, get your room and board and all that stuff. But this year they're doing it virtually for the first time. So we went ahead and purchased an admission, and we're going to be doing a virtual viewing. So you'll be able to absorb a lot of good information and get a lot of updates from the experts in our industry and the leadership from Coldwell Banker Corporate. So I do urge you guys to try to attempt to attend. This cannot be streamed virtually through our Zoom, so you do have to come in person. We only have one admission, and I'm going to put that viewing in our training room. So that went out yesterday. It's going to be for the 17th and 18th of October. I believe that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Yes, Tuesday and Wednesday. There's different times. I'm going to send out another email reminder next week and then the Monday of. But it's a good session to attend so you can absorb all the good stuff that our leadership and experts in our industry have to say. All right. So with that, I will hand it over to Michelle so she can go over the car forms.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's my honor to be here with you today. This is a review. I'm going to start with the AVID. It's not a line-by-line review. It's just some information. So on the real estate transfer disclosure, as you know, on page 3, when you check this box, see attached agent visual inspection disclosure, the AVID form, this is what we recommend you do. You don't have to note a bunch of stuff in here. Just check that you're including the AVID. And if you do that, please make sure that that is indeed included, because the TDS is a statutory requirement. And if you check that, that must be with it. Now, our company does require that you perform an AVID. So today I just want to go over a few things. We're not going line by line, as I said. If you've never seen Robert Brand, most of the information I'm talking about today is by listening and watching him. He is a premier trainer on AVID. So shout out to Robert Brand and thank you for the information. So first of all, on the AVID, we need to be careful with our words. For instance, if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes. So if you go into these forms, let's say you're in the entry and you don't see anything there that you can note, because bear in mind, an AVID is for red flags, defects, or something that would affect the desirability or value of the property. Now that's all subjective, I realize, but this is just a visual inspection. So if there's nothing noted or you know, there's no entry, maybe you just skip that and nothing noted in the living room. What you don't want to do on this form, and I rewatched the training on this, is we don't want to, for instance, go into the living room and start writing down like an inventory. Oh, curtains, blinds, ceiling fans, that's an inventory list. That's not a red flag or a defect. So here, no inventory type things, that doesn't apply to the AVID. Now, I want to go over some things. If you notice something and you're not exactly sure how to present it on your AVID, for instance, if you notice a floor is slightly uneven, now that's not visual, but you can walk over it and you feel it. And, you know, maybe that is in the living room. You could say something like, the floor in the living room appears to have some unevenness, period. No description other than that, no why. You're just reporting what you have perceived with your, you know, walking over it. and things like that. We want to keep it very minimal and just point out the issue and move on, okay? So some houses, you may notice an odor, maybe in your mind, you're thinking it's mold, musty, mildew, but we're not the professionals that are qualified to decide what those are. So normally you're just going to note that there's an odor present. So for instance, if you had a dining room, well, not a dining room, let's say a bedroom, you could say obvious, or you could say apparent odor noted in, bedroom 1. So you want to keep it very minimal. You don't want to start describing and going into words that you think it may be, because again, that could be testing from other professionals. So a lot of times we'll see cracks, and maybe they're even on a wall, or you most certainly in California probably see them on a driveway or even on the siding of a home. So when you are documenting cracks, you could write some cracks noted on driveway. We don't want to measure the cracks. We don't want to tell them how many, how long, anything like that. Just some cracks noted on the driveway, because then that clues in the buyer to go ahead, if you're the listing agent or vice versa, to go ahead and look at those cracks. So on the siding of the house, we usually stay away from naming what it is. I just call it exterior siding. So if you notice some cracks on the exterior siding, I call it exterior siding rather than stucco, because I don't want to make an error that maybe it isn't stucco and it just looks like stucco or something. So careful with the words, just cracks noted on exterior siding. So you just keep it simple, point them in the direction to check it for themselves. Now, if you had a cracked window, the same thing applies. You would say broken window or cracked window in the dining room, point them to the window and let them take a look at it. So if you don't find anything in a room, or the house is in fairly good condition or newer, you would write in the dining room, nothing noted. Okay, so and don't start adding inventory. As I said, that's not what this form is for. So let's come down here. There's always going to be other conditions or observed or known conditions, generally speaking. Now, what could that be? If the property is near a school, a park, or a cemetery, shopping plaza, church, anything like that, or we sold one that had a vacant lot behind it with these big electrical towers. So you want to make sure that, or they're near a lot of commercial properties. So here on other observations, you could write things like electrical towers noted adjacent to the property at the rear, something like that, or there is a freeway near the property. So we're not going to use measurements or feet or anything like that. It's just near the property. And the reason why is if you have a school or a park, there could be some very busy times. And so the buyer would want to take that into consideration. There might be a lot of traffic at certain times during the day for a school. There might be at a park, maybe they do ball games that start at 9 in the morning every Saturday. So those are the reasons why you're going to give those other observations so that they can check it out themselves. So this disclosure, then you sign that you did it. And a couple of other things about this disclosure. We need to do this on our own, not with an inspector and home inspector or a termite inspector. And the reason why is we want this to be our visual. We don't want to be involved with their inspection doing this, because then you might think, oh, they found that, I need to note it. No, you go ahead of all the inspections. Please go ahead of your home inspection, your termite inspection, do it with your own fresh eyes and complete the AVID. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick training on this, because recently I saw something where it said bad condition, And really that we don't, that I don't know what that means, but so just use those quick phrases that I gave you, and you should be good on this form. Another thing is, if you have a property that's been nicely remodeled, we don't want to put in descriptions, totally remodeled home, because in most cases that home is not going to be totally remodeled. Not everything had been done. So you could write nicely remodeled, beautifully remodeled home, something to that nature. In your descriptions, also be careful with your words and don't write something like totally remodeled, just beautifully remodeled, nicely remodeled, things like that. And again, I do want to say thank you to Robert Brand, because your training on these forms is invaluable. And so I'm going to open it up to any questions. We have a couple of other forms to introduce. So does anybody have questions or comments before we move on? Okay. All right. Okay, so we've had recently a couple of agents that have been dealing with the seller's purchase of replacement property, and then a contingency for sale of buyer's property. So these forms, I'm going to start here with the SPRP. They look a little complex, but you can go step by step through them. And I want to mention that if you need to use one of these forms and you're having a problem understanding, or you haven't done one before, come to one of us. We'll put our heads together, look at your specific transaction, and walk you through it and help you through it. So this is the seller's purchase of replacement property. So probably it didn't come through a purchase agreement unless you had told the agent writing ahead of time. So it's either an addendum to the purchase agreement, or it's going to be a counteroffer. So whichever one it is, the date of the purchase agreement or the counteroffer goes here. The seller's property address goes here, and the buyer and seller. So this form is a 2-page document, and it does have some provisions built in it for defaults. So if you look at seller purchase replacement of property 1A, that is the default. It is contingent upon the seller entering into a contract to acquire that replacement property within 17 days. Now that might not be enough. So you can amend the days here if you want, to whatever day you feel. Or you've already got the property in escrow, so then you would check 1B, that it's in escrow with the escrow company and the escrow number. And this is and C. If I'm representing the client, I like 1C. I like to check it. It's close of replacement property, and this agreement is contingent upon the seller's ability to close escrow on that replacement property according to that other contract. So it's really up to you and your clients. Generally, I like to check C, but that is again up to your clients how they want to complete the form with your advice, because you want to make it as attractive as possible to the other side, and I realize that. So there's time periods in the agreement for inspections, for contingencies, close of escrow, and such. So as specified in paragraph 1A here, so you still have the time periods, or you're going to remain as specified in the agreement that you wrote for close of escrow. So if you check this box, it's going to go according to the contract that you just wrote, okay? So the buyer's deposit shall be delivered to escrow within 3 business days after seller delivers to buyer a written notice that they've found their replacement property. Then they're going to deliver that deposit into escrow. Or if you're worried that's not as attractive enough, you could put as specified in the agreement as written. A lot of times you probably just leave it here, let the other side counter you. Close of escrow, party agrees and this is important, you want to kind of utilize this paragraph. Parties agree that the seller may extend the close of escrow on their property for the sale of their property, a maximum of how many additional days, because things don't always go exacting. So you can add additional days of 10 days or whatever you think you'll need here. Make sure that you understand your contract. So if you want to put some additional days here, you're going to put here, and the seller would then be providing the buyer with a written notice they're going to extend this for additional days, because you can't just expect them to know. You need to tell them that you're extending it, but please put this provision in for your clients. Okay. And then this goes through removal of contingencies. Even after the expiration of the finding the replacement property specified in 1A, the seller still retains the right to remove in writing the finding replacement property contingency or cancel that agreement. So it's not an automatic removal. Just remember that it needs to be removed in writing. So that's just a brief explanation of this form. If you get into this type of form, come over, we'll help you if you're not real familiar with it, and let us help you through it. We'll look at your contract, your deal, and then we'll help you with this form. So it's a very important form, so make sure that you're paying attention if you need to use that. Anna asked me to mention a couple of things on the TDS, so I'm going to quickly go in. So on the TDS here, she said sometimes we miss checking that. So here it's simple if the seller is or is not occupying the property. And up here, the substituted disclosures checklist, you want to make sure that you're checking one of these boxes. Generally, the no substituted disclosures for this transfer is checked. One of these boxes needs to be checked so that this TDS is complete. And then again, how we pointed out here, check for the AVID that you're attaching it. Make sure you do attach it so that the TDS is complete. Okay. So is there any questions on the TDS completion or on the AVID? Are there any issues you've came across when trying to write your AVID that you didn't know how to express it? Okay, so I think that this is going to be an early wrap up then. And I wanted to mention that we did kick off the AIR contract, the purchase agreement. I will do the second part of that purchase agreement. If you could let us know how many of you are interested in that training so that I know how many will be in attendance. Please let Ruben know. Eventually, I'd like to do that in person, but we still have it open on Zoom. We did do the first half of the purchase agreement on AIR. We will continue on with the second half, and we will pull in the AIR disclosures. So that training is to get you familiar with the contract. And then a lot of agents start doing commercial leases. We will also be doing a full training on the AIR commercial lease, because there's some brokerages that you work with that they will be requiring the AIR lease agreement. So we want to make you familiar with that. So that opens other avenues as a profit center for you. So we will continue on with AIR. I will finish up the purchase agreement. Then we will go into the lease agreement so that you have some familiar with the contract. And then if you have a deal like that and you have any questions, please let us know. As you know, commercial leasing can bring quite a bit of commission. And it's good if you have some understanding of those AIR contracts, because certain brokerages, that's all, commercial brokerages, that's all they're going to be using is AIR. We will continue on. I would like to know a head count of how many people are interested in AIR training. And we'll keep going till the end of the year.
Michelle, is that for November 3rd?
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to know how many are interested so that I can prepare accordingly. And then after we wrap up the purchase agreement, I'm going to go into the lease agreement for AIR.
Also, side note for anybody that wants to utilize AIR, that you get a discount through, I believe, Zip Forms, right, Michelle?
Yeah, I think it's $259 annually for
Yeah.
the forms.
So if you're interested in commercial forms, because it's very difficult to ask for those forms from another person because they lock it in with that agent and stuff. It has all their information on there and stuff. So, but if you are interested, you can get a discount through Zip Forms.
And when we do the training, finishing up next time, Ruben will be sending out that purchase agreement along with the announcement of that class. So make sure when you come to that class, you have your purchase agreement with you so you can kind of follow along on the training. Anything else? Let me
Any other
look.
questions? Next week, we are going to be going over Zip Forms. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Zip Forms, we constantly get agents asking us how to do this, how to do that. So I'm going to go through actually generating a sale or a listing, and then also executing it for Authentisign. That's the free version for getting a digital signature through Zip Forms. Okay, so you don't have to pay for it. If you use SkySlope, or if you use what's the big one, Michelle? DocuSign?
Yeah,
You will
DocuSign.
have to pay for it. Okay, DocuSign is a membership, and SkySlope will charge you per item that you are sending for signature. So why not just use Authentisign? It's free. I use it, and I think it works perfectly and stuff. So we'll go over that next week. Also, additionally, if anybody has any topics, forms, disclosures that they wish for us to touch on, please let us know. You can email me or Michelle. You know, we're here to educate and bring knowledge to you guys, but we need to know what you guys need to learn or would like to learn, or for us to go over, okay?
And if you've had any issues in a transaction where you've really learned something from solving that issue, that's always great to share at these types of meetings, because I'm always interested to hear how somebody solved an issue, because that's how we learn. You learn, unfortunately, by, resolving issues, and sometimes it feels like you're stepping into fire, but, we can resolve them. You have enough knowledge in this building, in the brokerage, that we can help you through anything. So just, please come and ask us, and we're here to help you. Patricia, you want to go over the buyer's contract? Yeah, we
That
can
is
do that.
correct. Thank you. Yeah, thank
You
you.
mean, now you want to go over the buyer's contract, or are you talking about Zip Forms?
No, the buyer's contract.
Okay.
Yeah, the buyer's contract.
You mean the RPA, Patricia?
No, the purchase contract. No, but there's a contract that we can give to the buyers so that they
Oh,
will
got it.
compromise.
Okay.
You mean for the commission?
Correct.
Okay.
Got it.
We'll
Okay.
put that down and we'll bring that in.
Thank you.
If anybody else has anything else they want to go over, please put it in the chat box and we'll address that.
Now, keep in mind on that buyer's contract, they're not required to sign it, and most will not sign it. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
A buyer's representation, is that what we're
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
it's
is
kind of locking, marrying the agent and the buyer exclusive. But if I was a buyer, I wouldn't, because you never know what that relationship would, which will transpire with that relationship. But if you could get it signed, that secures the commission.
Yeah, we can always try,
Right?
That's I like your attitude, Patricia. Yeah, try. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, please let us know how many for AIR. I'd like to know prior to November 3rd.
You have 3 already, Michelle.
Okay.
Jeffrey, Alex, and Patricia. Also, just a side note, has nothing to do with our training today, but recently we had a power outage and our phone system went down, and our internet. It took us a day or so to restore it, but it's all up and running, fully functional. So we do apologize for that. It was something that's out of our control, but our internet is back up. It is a new internet. So if you're using the old CBGR agent or staff Wi-Fi, that is not the one anymore. It's GR. So if you log on to your Wi-Fi and you see GR, that is our Wi-Fi now. So if you need the passcode, I can give that to you. Actually, I'll put it in the chat right now. It's a phone number, so that's the right. Okay, that's the password for Wi-Fi. So you might have to change your settings on your phone or devices and your computer so that you can get the internet. And additionally, it's like everything's happening at one time. Our website went dark because our hosting company is going out of business. However, we're in the works of building a new website, so it'll probably be done in the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. So just bear with us as we employ a new hosting company to build us a new website. Okay.
Hey, Ruben, that number is for the website for the CBGR website code.
Not website. This is Wi-Fi. Don't mix up the two. GR, I just put it in the chat. GR is so when you go on your device and you search for a Wi-Fi, you know how they have names. Our Wi-Fi is GR for George Realty. Okay. Once you click on that, it's going to ask you to connect with a password. The password is that phone number, which is 626-627-6227. If it changes for whatever reason, I will let everybody know. But for the time being, that's what the password is. And if you have any questions when you're coming in and you just can't log on, just come see me or Rhett, and we'll get you onto our Wi-Fi.
I have a question, Ruben.
Yes, Jeffrey.
Yeah, for the Engage eBlast, when we're gonna have that eBlast?
eBlast, what do you mean? I don't understand your question, Jeffrey. What eBlast?
The campaign. Remember the Engage? How do you do the eBlast?
I think we went over that already. Do you need to go over it again? Well, here's a question for everybody. Do you guys need another class for Moxie Engage, Moxie Impress, Moxie website, or what's the other one? Moxie Present. Are you guys familiar with the platform, or do you guys need an additional class? Can you guys let me know? Okay, I guess you guys are experts. For sure, you put Moxie, but Moxie is a platform. It has apps in there. Which one in particular?
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, Trish wants AR training too, Michelle. So you got 4 now.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll schedule a tech class for Moxie as well. We'll see if I can incorporate it with zip forms, see how fast we can get through zip forms. If not, I'll do an additional one. Jeffrey wants the AIR too.
okay. All right. I think that, is that it then, Ruben? Should I
Yeah,
stop the
unless does
recording?
anybody have any questions? I mean, this is an open forum as well. Do anybody want to talk about anything? What's going on in the market? Rates are high, that inventory is low. You just got to continue the daily grind and stuff, so you got to be out in front of business when it presents itself. But this is the time. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, Ruben, I have a question because usually we get the reference affiliates, from the website that we get from the company, and then right now the website is not working. So where I can get all of those affiliates, connection from the company. So it's like if I want to get to my inspection service, where I can.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. So when the website was up, when you went to the agent resources, you would click on a button, and that would direct you to what you wanted to click on, right? You guys are familiar with
Yeah.
that, how it used to
Mhm.
work? So
Yes.
I
Yes.
I backed up our website, so I have all that data, but instead of clicking on that button, I'm gonna send you guys a form, right? And you're just gonna click on the link that applies to whichever one you're gonna click. It's the same thing, it's gonna function the same way, it's just it's not on a website. So I'll email that out to everybody company-wide, so you guys have those resources. Within those resources, you'll see affiliate list, and that's where you would click on the link. And Sean, that's where you would get all your affiliate contact information.
Thank you very much, Ruben.
Anything else, guys? We're here for you to give you knowledge, training. So if you have any questions or want to discuss anything, now's the time. No?
Ruben,
Yes,
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
on the commercial, have you tried using RPR?
RPR. I dabbled with it a little bit. I mean, look, guys, we're in the technology world now. I mean, technology is advancing like a speed of light, you know, so there is so many applications and things that you can use to help your business and stuff. RPR is one. I mean, there's an abundance. Every day I'm learning something new about a new application to help grow your business and stuff. So so to answer your question, it is a good application. I think it's free to realtors, right, Jeff?
Right. Yeah.
Right, it's part of your dues.
Yeah, that's very good for demographic commercial.
Right, right. There's a lot, you know. I'll tell you this, the app that I think it's Nicole, is it Nicole? Yeah, the app that Nicole has, Agent One, that's a very powerful tool for social media, for content, for all your seller net sheets, calculators. So if you don't have that app, it's called Agent One. I urge you to get in touch with Nicole with Fidelity Title and get that app. There's a free version, but I urge you to go ahead and splurge on the 99 cents per month. That's what it costs, and do the premium. It's got phenomenal stuff on there. The content is just unreal. So it's called Agent, I think it's Agent One is what it's called. All right. Oh, no further questions. So then we'll see you guys next week for the Zip Forms training. And if you have any questions from now and then, just go ahead and reach out to us. All right, Michelle, can you stop recording?